Assalamu alaikum Muslim brothers and sisters. This is the first video made up from the authentic source. It is the translation and tafseer of the Quran Pak by Agha Muhammed Yaqoob. It is comprised of 5-volume editions and this is the first volume. Let's start with the introduction of the Quran, where you will get to know a lot of things. What is Allah created for the mankind, how this world is created, and you will also understand the evolution about humankind. Ask the bride dresser to add something to the charms of the beloved so that we may witness it. Verily, Allah is very gentle and kind. He likes softness and gentleness in each human performance. He confers favors of these qualities. This runs a tradition of the Prophet of Islam. It is in appreciation of these qualities that Allah has consistently maintained a relationship of understanding and love with His creatures. He knows that the human being is born weak. Accordingly, He has ever desired to create congenial surroundings for him and to lighten his loads of duties and responsibilities in the matter of spiritual spheres in this world. Verse number 28, Surah Al-Nisa. The first action that he took in this connection was to create the universe and then systematically evolve it by a long process of progression to suit the human conveniences and requirements. He had planned to rehabilitate the man on earth as his imam or vice versa, regent. In that connection, he brushed aside the humble reminder from the angels of the potentialities of the man to create trouble on earth. He imparted to Adam the requisite knowledge about certain earthy objects and thus established his worthiness for vice regency on earth. Verse number 30 and 31, Surah Al-Baqarah. Simultaneously, Allah perfected the physical conditions on earth. He fixed mountains therein to give it stability. Verse 31, Surah Al-Anbiya. He created rivers and lakes to supply sweet water for multifarious purposes. He put up forests and provided birds and animals for food. In short, Allah did not ignore any aspect of human comfort. All things created on earth were meant for the service of mankind. Verse number 29, Surah Al-Baqarah. He created the solar system to serve various purposes for the benefit of mankind and as an evidence about himself to those who possessed knowledge and discretion. Verse number 5, Surah Yunus. Similarly, Allah took interest to help the man in his spiritual evolution during his stay in this world. There is a tradition of the Prophet that every child is born in the natural religion. His parents then make him a Jew, Christian, or a fire worshipper. His natural religion is that which is based on realism, nearest to the nature. It is synonymous with monotheism or Islam. This was the religion which, under divine guidance, the first human couple ushered into the world and preached to the progeny. Hazrat Adam was the first apostle of Allah and the standard bearer of the primitive monotheism. As against the above divine solicitude and guidance for the men, the later had to contend against an enemy whom he had never directly provoked, but who maliciously attributed his fall from the divine grace to the men and therefore swore to be his inveterate enemy with a view to bring about his downfall too. I refer to Satan, the product of smokeless fire, a jinn. At first, he was one of the most enthusiastic worshippers of Allah. Due to his ascetic prayers and excellent services to Allah, he was exalted and ranked with angels, who are a product of light, and some of whom occupy positions very near to Allah. When Allah had ordered the angels to prostrate before Adam in recognition of his worthiness for appointment as his vice-regent on earth, the angels submissively obeyed, but not Satan. He refused to do it, claiming superiority of his origin, being a product of smokeless fire vis-a-vis Adam, a product of clay. It was this misconception regarding the divine origin of men which was to give rise to what we call evil. The wisdom of the Quran. Allah got incensed with him and cursed and disgraced him for all his disobedience. Verse number 118, Surah Al-Nisa. Satan attributed his downfall to the much too obvious interest of Allah in Adam, whom he looked upon as his successful rival. Satan attributed his downfall to the much too obvious interest of Allah in Adam, whom he looked upon as his successful rival. Consequently, he was full of spite against him. His first campaign was to create difficulties for Adam and his wife in paradise, where they then reside. And very unluckily for the couple, he succeeded in his designs. And a misconception created by Satan's wiles, Adam fumbled about the exact interpretation of Allah's orders, faltered and fell vertically. And so did his spouse, whose name the Quran has not mentioned. They had committed the fatal lapse and approached the forbidden tree in contravention of Allah's express orders to them, and thereby they brought on themselves the divine displeasure. And most certainly, we commanded Adam before, but he forgot it, and we did not find him strong in determination. Verse number 115, Surah Taha. Allah ordered their expulsion from paradise. Later, however, He accepted their repentance and sent them to earth with the assurance that if they and their progeny benefited from His guidance and remain upright, they shall have no remorse and they shall be admitted into paradise to dwell therein permanently. Verse number 35, 38, Al-Baqarah, and 102 and 123, Surah Taha. This is a promise from Allah, and who is more truthful than Allah in respect of a promise? Verse number 11, Surah Al-Nisa. Satan also was externed from paradise. Allah did not, however, favor him with any assurance of rehabilitation in paradise. In fact, there was no question about it, as he had not repented of his sins.